I love that music. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dream Review MariGold. I am your co-host, the sleeveless Andre C. And I got my tag team partner, the Princess of Pump. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
And doing great, Andre. I'm a little tired today, not gonna lie. I was on the phone quite late last night dealing with some stuff, but I'm in a good mood. The sun is shining as it usually is for the last couple of weeks. God damn, hotter than Hades' booty hole up in this
Only a couple more
beast.
days. Only a couple more days, and it's supposed to break.
Well, Alberta's Mother Nature can get out of her menopause any minute now and stop making me sweat my lady balls off. But I'm doing great, Andre. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Got up super early this morning, went and worked out, and then did yard work at started at 8:15, finished by 10 a.m. Yeah, I got it. I got her done this morning because I did not want to be working in the heat. So I went and got my workout in super early. Got my uh, yard work done super early, and then came back in the house and have done absolutely nothing except for make some lunch.
That's fair. That's fair. I also got my yard work done in the morning before it got too hot. Because now it's like even just looking outside makes me sweat. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm glad I have Mondays off on a Monday like this.
No kidding. I would think it was 34 degrees before I came on here.
Ugh, I think crazy. I just hide in my basement, even with the AC off. It's still cold down here. It'll be hot as balls upstairs, but it's nice down here.
I'm like struggling right now. Do I try lugging my 80-pound air conditioner awkwardly up the stairs to cool off up here, or do I just leave it on the main floor and turn the main floor into an ice box?
Icebox.
The saga of Melball continues. We're not here to talk about how freaking hot it is here. We're here to talk how hot it is in Japan right now because all the wrestling going on. You like how I did
Oh
that? Like my little
yeah,
segue while you're doing your clicky clicky things?
yeah. I forgot I don't have my right notes up. I was watching G1 before we got on here. I have my G1
That's
notes.
fair.
I
I
gotta
still
save it.
also had my G1 notes up. I was like, these are not right. And mine are extensive. I don't know how extensive yours are, but I got this G1. Whew, you
Oh,
just
I
wait for
got.
that Food Wars to
Oh,
review. That is going to be
we
off the chain.
we got lot. I got lots to say, especially on that first G1 match of the tournament. I've got a lot to say before the match even gets started because they listened to me. That's all I can say is they listened to me.
You, us.
Me. I'm the one that
Uh,
I even picked the colors.
you picked the colors, but I have been saying it for longer than you. We
Yes,
will
but
get to that when we get to
I
it.
picked the colors. It's all I can say.
Oh, Grange. You picked the color. Baby,
I
baby,
picked the
baby.
colors. I picked the colors. That was bad. I
The
apologize.
freak.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
Mr. Money Munson needs to remix that.
Damn it. Damn it on the hell. Damn it on the hell.
Oh, the heat is getting to us, ladies and gentlemen. My friend,
Yep.
take us into our intro.
I'm not hot, but it's time for us to get into some dream star fighting Marigo. But before we do that, I want to thank each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for showing up here on the YouTube channel. We are slowly growing. The subscribers count keeps going up. We appreciate all of you. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below because we want to hear from you. We love talking to you. Big shout out to Joe Demetrius Frank, who just dropped a couple chats in the comment box, and love you, dude. Thank you for tuning in. And if you drop your comments in the chat, I will definitely shout you out on here for sure. And please share us out to all your friends, family, all the wonderful and crazy karate kids out there. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
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 Hello. Okay, we are going to get into it. It's like keep saying hello over and over again. We're going to talk MariGold Summit Destiny featuring WWE Superstar Iyo Sky facing Utami Hayashishita, and we're getting 3 champions crowned on this show. 3. and I have more championship news to talk about at the end of this. Some news that came out a couple days after this. We're going to talk about some championship news and some tournament news that might have dropped
Mm-hmm.
regarding
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
MariGold. So we're going to talk about all that, but we're here to talk about this right now. So
Yes.
we're going to get into it. We're kicking it off. Opening. I messed up my. I changed my screens there. That's weird. I need to fix this. There we go. All right, there you go. You know what? I had to like minimize to get to my notes, and my screens went all wonky on me. We kick it off with it is the rookie battle. Rhea Seto versus Komomo Minami. This is Seto's first match since January.
Mm-hmm.
She has been out. Minami slapping the hand away, hits a drop kick, unloads a bunch, but Seto drops her, hits her own drop kick for 2. Seto gets on her back, pulls both arms, and then does the front flip into the Bryan Danielson cattle mutilation. But Minami
Mm-hmm.
fights and she gets to the ropes. Announcers are saying the MariGold Dojo is very similar to all the other dojos we have heard about, similar to Stardom's Dojo, New Japan Dojo. These girls are literally doing the veterans' laundry and other things, carrying their bags, doing
Mm-hmm.
all this, which is the stories we've been hearing about Japanese dojos forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's just a different kind of honor code, I guess, that they have over
Yeah.
there. Because, you know, sure as shit, we wouldn't see that kind of happening here. But then again, we don't see the rookies here coming out with the kind of experience that the rookies there come out with. So, tomato, tomato, potato, potato.
Yeah. Minami rolling with the armbar into the Jujikatami style armbar, but she gets stacked for 2, but kicks out. But she reapplies the armbar, but Seto does get to the ropes. Seto unloading with drop kicks, repeated pinfalls until she finally gets the win. I found the ending insanely awkward in what they were doing there, and I'll have to say this match, well, good. I saw a lot of sloppiness in this, but again,
Mm-hmm.
both very junior. Ryo Seto only starting very recently and
Mm-hmm.
then taking a break from injury, changing companies. Minami
Mm-hmm.
only very recently starting too. So again, I'm not saying it was bad. I very much enjoyed these two. Just I
Mm-hmm.
saw I would prefer to see them working with more experienced people.
I agree. I agree. We've mentioned this before in Stardom when we saw Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara.
Mm.
The two of them, I would compare the match that we saw with them before joining Cosmic Angels to this one. There was, the obvious lack of the experienced person in there. And having that veteran with the newbie kind of allows the newbie to kind of get a taste of things, but also allows the veteran to be able to keep the match at that pace where we're not seeing that kind of sloppiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this was a little bit of a tester for them. I do have to agree with you. It was in comparison a little more, I wouldn't say sloppy, maybe a little awkward, just not because they didn't have chemistry. These two actually had a lot of chemistry, especially when they were starting to pound on each other really good at the end there. But yeah, there was a definite kind of lacking as a result of not having the person who would just know those little tricks a little bit more.
Mm.
Um, just on the positive also though, that the gear that Minami has, it looks so professional,
Mm.
so good. I absolutely love the black with the gold accenting. And I love how the girls, each girl in this company and all the girls that we see, they all have a very distinct, unique look. Like they all have their own little personalities set within their gear. And even though these two girls are the kind of like rookies of the company, they already have that great professional, unique look. It
Mm.
took me a while to get used to Seto's hair though, because she has that really cool undercut. Um, but the bangs with it kind of makes it look like a bit of a bowl in front of her.
It looks
But
odd.
gosh, it does, but once you get used to it, it's like actually kind of works really, really well with her eyes. Because I feel like
Oh, just a picture alone, her eyes are popping from like where her hair is. The eyes
Yeah,
just pop.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
that absence of the eyebrows that I think kind of works really well for her. But I
Mm.
feel like, I felt the same way with Rana in Stardom. I feel like she could be a really good kind of Natsuko level heel one day with her facial features and with her moveset. So I think as long as she keeps working, keeps doing what she's doing, she's gonna get to that level pretty quickly because she seems almost just a little bit, well, I think because of the initial training before the injury, she's got that little bit of an edge on Minami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rather see these 2 tagging across from each other, though,
Mm.
as opposed to one-on-one matches.
I just want to see them working with even like a Yuzuki level of more experienced,
Mhm.
or a Kouki Amarei, who people who have been in the business like a year or two, just to give
Yeah,
them
yeah.
somebody who's got a little more seasoning under their belt, that has a little more
CHIAKI.
time. CHIAKI, like just people who have a little more seasoning under the belt with them. Even if it's
Mhm,
these
mhm.
two versus two more, even if these two were teamed up and they were facing two that were uh like a little more experience. So, like even
Uh-huh.
then, I'm okay. Like no, you know what I mean. I'm just saying I don't want to see
Yeah,
them just.
eventually, yeah.
I just don't feel the
Yeah.
1-on-1 for these two is the strongest place you can put them.
100%, 100%. I think that
Yeah.
tagging them together eventually will be a good idea. I think that having them team with a veteran and go against each other is going to be able to get them to that level where they'll be ready to tag with each other because then they can start coming up with their own moves. They can start figuring out timing a little bit more, figuring out some like maybe some story kind of things to kind of throw in there that more kind of like veteran and experienced people would kind of have. So I feel like pairing them will teach them a little bit more and enable them to have more. I'm going to say, I don't want to say solid because it makes it sound like it wasn't a solid match, and it was. Because the armbar stuff that Seto was doing was freaking cool.
Hmm.
Um, and then like Minami very much reminds me of our local Riley Rose. Very much that kind of aerialist, kind of speed kind of wrestler with those striking tendencies. I really, really enjoy her stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
interesting way to start the show, but I thought a very good way to start it.
Well, technically, it didn't start the show because it was a
I know
pre-show
it was the
match.
pre-show.
Yeah, but it
I
did
still
start the show
consider it
for
the
us.
beginning.
It is the beginning of just like I look at every 0 hour show from AEW. That's the start of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
We move on to a tag team match. It is the Twin Towers, Chika, Goto, and Kouki Amarei, and that is their official tag name, versus Victoria Yuzuki and her debuting tag team partner, Kizuna Tanaka. Tanaka is 19 years old, started last year in professional wrestling, and she is the daughter of Minoru Tanaka and Yumi Fukawa, who are both professional wrestlers
Hmm,
in
hmm.
Japan. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Didn't they have a little announcement? I can't remember if it was before this show or on another show
Yeah.
where they announced Mama. Mama came out and announced her and introduced her to the crowd.
Yeah, she was. It was. I think the week before. I want to say.
Mhm. I think so, yeah.
I think it was on the
I've been
show.
watching
We
so
showed.
much
We
wrestling,
talked
I
about it.
can't remember.
It was on the 6th.
Yeah,
We talked about it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 See? My
Same
brain
here.
is just melding everything in this heat.
Yeah. Great transition wrestling at the start from Tanaka and Kouki Amarei off the hop. They think they did a really good job together. Yuzuki
Mhm,
and Tanaka double teaming Kouki and hit the double drop kick. Goto gets involved. Her and Kouki hit the double team and hit the double big boot to Yuzuki. Goto gets a giant swing on Yuzuki, and then the running hip attack in the ropes for 2. Yuzuki and Tanaka fight back at one point, hit that Rough Rider Bulldog combo. And
mhm,
Yuzuki hits Goto with a huge drop kick against the bottom rope. Her just kind of almost going through it. How solid that drop kick was. Goto
mhm.
catches Tanaka coming off the top with a crossbody and slams her, and then does an inverted giant swing into a sit out face buster. Looked great. Yeah. Oh, I thought you had everything there.
No, no, I was just I'm agreeing. It looked great.
Yeah. Kouki then gets it. Kouki Amarei gets the Argentine backbreaker into a dominator on Tanaka for 2. Tanaka pulls an armbar on Kouki Amarei, and Yuzuki comes in, grabs Goto into a twister submission, which I was like, you don't see twisters much, and I'm like, yes. And she's done this a couple times. I think the twister's going to be her go-to submission. And I'm like, I'm ready for this. But I think she did it against Nane uh, a few weeks ago when I think it's at Summer or whichever show she faced Nane at.
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, she struggled to get it in a little bit on Nane, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. The end of this match comes a double suplex by Victoria Yuzuki and Tanaka. And Tanaka hits a top rope drop kick and then hits a roundhouse kick, but the time expires. We get a 10-minute draw, and they did announce that it was a 10-minute time limit, just like the pre-show match was a 10-minute time limit. And they ended up showing Kizuna Tanaka's dad in the crowd, showing Mr. Minoru Tanaka in the crowd too. So
Yeah. I like that. I like the setup of the crowd and the show for this one with the stage and the crowd being all around. The tables kind of set up. It was obviously a bit of a Stardom feel, but like with a different kind of energy. The crowd was very electric in comparison to the Stardom crowds. I don't know if it's just because it's new and fresh and everything, but like the crowd just felt very on fire from the beginning of the pre-show until the end of it. It was great.
yeah.
I don't
And
have a
then
whole ton to add to this one, just because I kind of just enjoyed this one. I'm not gonna lie, but I will say I did like Yuzuki's new hair color. She's got that nice yellow blonde going on there, and then she has the purple pink kind of ombre tippy tippies. Looks really really nice with her gear.
the tippy tippies. The tippy
Tippy
tippies.
tippies. It helps separate her. This is gonna sound weird because like she's all yellow now. Like all of her gear is yellow, her hair is yellow. But it kind of it matches her skin tone a little closely. So adding that pink and blue at the tips there separates her head from the rest of her body, if that makes sense. It makes it look a little bit more
Hmm.
not like she had just a can of yellow paint dumped on her.
Yeah. So a bunch of people come out, and there's this lady named Princess Tenko who sings, and people dance, and this is very much like Tokyo Joshi Pro of it all. We saw that we've seen that on Tokyo Joshi Pro shows, a lot of dancing and performance as part of the show. Then
Yes.
after that, Michoko Omukai comes out with a young lady, and she introduces her daughter Shino, who will
Mhm.
be joining the MariGold promotion. She will train her very best while she is studying in school. Omukai is a former All Japan women's wrestler, wrestled in multiple other promotions throughout Japan over the years. Retired in 05, or no, sorry. She retired in 05, returned in 2017 with Stardom for a match or two. It's had a couple odd matches over the years, but it's like one a year kind of deal.
Mhm.
And Michoko has fought in mixed martial arts too. She's 1-0.
Mhm.
Yeah, at, at a
Okay.
in a promotion called Smack Girl.
Get it, girl.
It's called Smack Girl. And then before we
Smack
jump,
girl.
and then the announcers did announce that Nargo's they will have a big show on January the 3rd, titled MariGold First Dream. They did mention this on the show. So
Mhm. Mhm.
So we move
Yeah.
on to the next match on this card. It is a tag team match. It is CHIAKI and Nagisa Nozaki versus Mother Grace and Zayda Steel. CHIAKI and Nozaki immediately double teaming Zayda. Nozaki gets her into the ropes, does that like pull up on her leg, like kick to the back of the head. CHIAKI
Mhm.
ends up hitting Zayda with the chair while she's in the ropes. It's like, what the
Mhm.
hell? Zayda does get the chair and tosses it out, hits a backstabber to Nozaki. Zayda and Myla and double super kicking Nozaki. Zayda hits a low pay to CHIAKI on the floor. Myla comes off the top to Nozaki on the floor. A lot of double team moves in the early going of this match. Myla gets out of an eliminator, the eliminator's like claw slam thing, and gets a Gargano escape onto CHIAKI, but CHIAKI makes it to the ropes. It's crossface, but put the arm behind the neck. That's the Gargano escape.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's named after one Johnny Gargano. Uh,
Oh.
he popularized the move, in my opinion. Again, I've seen other guys use it before him, but that's the most recent name that's in my brain. CHIAKI getting the triple fisherman suplex to Zayda, but the pin gets broken up. Myla hits an inverted DDT to CHIAKI. Zayda hits the unpretty or the kill switch, but Nozaki sends Myla into the ref to stop the pin. Gets a chair, hits people, but Zayda hits a code breaker. Code breakers the chair into Nozaki, which was great. I love that little spot. Myla stops Zayda using the chair more, and this just creates the dissension between the friends. And CHIAKI gets the spear. Nozaki hits a running drop kick. CHIAKI hits the Torture X swing out slam for the win. Myla and Zayda after the match are fighting. They have to be pulled apart. I don't know if this tag team's gonna work out.
Yeah. My first note was Grace and Steele working great together until they weren't. Um, it's interesting because I feel like both these women, Myla and Zayda, both have something to prove on this tour. And I feel like both of them are doing it, but both of them are fighting for that same spotlight. And I'm kind of living for it because as much as I love seeing them tag together and representing, us white ladies over there, um, I want to see them beat the shit out of each other. I want to see them give their best against each other as well. Um, but yeah, I felt that this tag match in particular was meant to kind of show off that cohesiveness between CHIAKI and Nozaki. These two have just become, quite honestly, the most well-oiled tag team in this entire company, and I would almost say across the companies that we're watching, even like Stardom and hell, even NJPW. I just see such cohesiveness with them. They work so well together, and they almost have that like LIJ lack of communication ability to just know what the other is setting up and gets ready for it. But holy hecking crap, have we really seen an evolution in even just like a month of CHIAKI? Going from that kind of like, I would say, I don't want to say soft spoken, but she was certainly quieter than she is now. Very Mirai-esque. We've been comparing her a lot to Mirai. Mirai, I always called the Quiet Riot because she doesn't have to say much, but then she gets in the ring and she does much. CHIAKI starting to become a lot more of a, I would say more, I've been using this a lot, a more feral, very unhinged kind of version of Mirai. And she's starting to become, I would say, one of the more dangerous women in MariGold. I'm kind of living for it. Kind of living for it. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add, more to add to this, except for I'm excited to see because we've kind of seen again emergence of two little stories kind of starting in this. And I have a lot more faith in MariGold's ability to water and nurture those stories, unlike some of the other things that are attached. Yeah.
We move
Oh
on to the
yes.
Superfly Championship match. That is your Superfly Championship right there. I think it's, to me, it's the funnest looking title out of the. Like, it's a classic, like old school
Yeah.
WWE old school kind of title is what it looks like
Yeah.
comparatively to the other titles here in MariGold, especially the tag titles, which we will talk about after we're done reviewing this show.
Yeah, it definitely gave me like 90s WWE vibes.
Yeah, definitely. Or like an old WCW belt, something like that. That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a classic vintage style look. I dig it. I like it.
Yeah. So we get it for the championship. It is Natsumi Showzuki versus Misa Matsui. Again, really fast match. This match was quick. Like everybody was
Hmm.
hammering. Showzuki misses a slingshot knee drop in the ropes, but then Misa misses that bottom rope Raka style cross body. They
Hmm.
fight on the apron. Misa gets a cobra cut suplex, then goes to the top, hits a high cross off the top to the floor. Back in the ring though, John Woo drop kick or shotgun drop kick, however you want to call it, into the corner, and then a quarter meteora by Showzuki for two, then to the top, but misses the stomp. Misa hits that running knee to the face, and this is where Misa starts, and then Misa's and or the which one was bleeding? One of them,
Matsui, Misa.
yeah, and me after she hits a knee to Natsumi, this is where Misa starts bleeding from the nose. Or
No, she wasn't bleeding from the nose. She split her lip. I don't
oh,
know if you
okay.
could see her and the rest of the show after this match when she was at ringside for specifically for the semi-main and the main, you could actually see her with a large piece of gauze taped to her lip, and it
Oh,
was
I thought it was.
because it
That's when.
split the whole. You remember how when Hiroshi Tanahashi flung that wild fist at Goto? I think it was in the G1 2 years ago, and he split his lip open like 2 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
I
very
do.
similar injury,
Okay.
except for it was right above the lip.
All right. So she must have got caught with it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Misa gets a stretch muffler, but Shizuki gets to the ropes. Misa hits the bottom rope crossbody Raka style there, and then gets her with a top rope green killer for two. Towards the end of the match, the victory roll stomp by Misa Matsui, Francisco Akira style for two, into
Mhm.
another stomp for two, then into another stomp for two. She hits a Buseko knee for another two, and then a Michinoku German, but again, only two. Shizuki comes back with a head kick. They both go down. A bunch of pinfall trading. Show avoids the code red, but Misa hits a spinning back fist for two. Suzuki gets a couple roll ups on Misa and then pulls the crucifix for the win to become the first ever Superfly Champion.
Yes. Well earned, well earned. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
This match was so fast. This is something like this is a banger. This was the kind of show that I would expect with Azumi and Starlight Kid. It was that level freaking good. I was very impressed with it. I don't have a whole lot to add to the match, but I did want to touch on the dramatic change in Misa Matsui, where she went from that short kind of brown kind of do there that we usually see on Natsupoi to the long, beautiful, blonde, dramatic kind of look and a complete I don't think that the gear was different, but I feel like the new hairstyle definitely fitted her gear and her quite a bit better than the darker look. I was very impressed with it. Yeah, this was
I didn't know.
great.
I didn't know people could grow their hair out that fast. I just didn't know that.
If the men find out we can shape shift, they're going to tell the church.
What? I'm so
We
confused now.
we can. I mean, it's. I mean, you know how some men can just and suddenly have a mustache or beard or something. That's some women. We have that power. We have that
Oh,
shape shifting ability.
okay, so it's all real hair then. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. 100%.
We move on to the match. I honestly, my like this is my low point on the show. It was a good match, but like I
Mm,
had no idea who these other three people were. Shinobu Kandori, Takako Inoue, who's the actually I do know who she is. I just never really knew. I don't never watched her, and the
mhm,
unknown Nori taking on Nani
mhm.
Takahashi, Naomi Ishikawa, and Mai Sakura. Like it was a good match. This was one where I wasn't. the least invested I was on the whole show. Like, for the juniors, I'm invested because I'm watching these to see the future of MariGold. This one I was just like, it was fine. Like I had nothing bringing me into this. Triple corner drops to NORI at one point, and the triple elbow drop to her. Mai gets her into that paradise lock that doesn't look quite right at all. And then gets Kandori in her, and now they do the drop kick to unlock. In a way, gives a big choke slam off the top to Nane. Nane fights off a triple team, but Kandori gets an armbar, but it gets broken up. Later in the match, Nane superplexes NORI off the top, and Mai hits the top rope elbow into now hitting the Angel's wings. But the pin gets broken up, and I say now because of the other person, because the other person named Mao. If I see it like that now, I'm going to say now because of Mao. End of the match comes. Everyone's attacking each other. Kandori drops now with a lariat. NORI gets two. NORI with two spin kicks to the head of now. And she gets the win. I honestly didn't pay attention to anything to do with the post-match. Everybody seemed to not like each other. And it seems like they set up Nane versus NORI for a future match.
Yeah, I was a little kind of conflicted. It sounds like, they kind of were like, haha, we won. You can still train there, but you better make sure you clean it up. And that seemed to be a big thing on the commentary throughout the whole thing, and apparently why a lot of the issues are happening is that their MariGold is not taking care of the gym to the standards that the trainers Kandori, Inoue, and NORI would prefer. Just fair. Especially when you're a guest there, it's importante to leave the place in as good a condition as you arrived, if not better. It sounds like MariGold was disagreeing with what was going on in regards to what was being said. So there did seem to also be a very distinct sense of urgency, I'm going to say, in now Ishikawa, where she was just really like, she was going at 1,000% this entire match. Her dedication in this match was what really kept me interested in what was going on, because every time she got into the ring, she was just a fireball, just running all over the place, trying to take care of her team, trying to take care of herself. I was disappointed that she took the pin on this one. I don't want to sound mean, but if MariGold was going to be taking the loss, I would have actually preferred Mai to kind of take this loss, because like, in comparison, like that paradise lock, that new variation that she's trying to do, it really doesn't look good. And we already know the paradise lock can be a little bit of an iffy move as it is. The way she's doing it, I don't want to say taking credibility from the move, but like, it's pretty obvious when she does it that the person has to keep it in, unfortunately. That you can see, there's no way you can put the camera anywhere where you can't see that the hand isn't trapped or something like that. So it's something that she does need to kind of work on and tailor a little bit. But that kind of lack of, I hate to say perfectionism, but like, you're performing on a big show for MariGold. That's something that should have been perfection, and it unfortunately wasn't from her ladyship. That being said, Nane came in here like a freaking spitfire too, just passion, passion, passion. I felt that she was really kept afloat by now, and her just she almost out-passioned Nane in this match. So that's really why I was disappointed that now took that pin. Kandori, though, I gotta say, I've seen her wrestle one match before, I think, on Stardom, I want to say. I think. we've seen her wrestle before, and in comparison to this match, I actually really liked her a lot more in this match. Maybe it's because I feel like she had more of a beef or a story or a background or something more with Nane and MariGold in general, but I
Oh,
enjoyed seeing her more in this match than I had in the past. I look forward to seeing, I think, more of Inoue and Nori, especially when Nori is going to be kind of mucking about with Nane in the coming time.
oh no, her name's
Um,
just Nori. It's Takako Inoue is the one in the middle. The
I
other
know.
one's just
I
named.
was saying Inoue and Nori.
Oh, I think you said Inoue Nori. I'm like, oh, I don't
No,
think that's right. Maybe
sorry,
okay, Inoue and Nori.
Inoue and Nori.
Mm,
I look forward to seeing a little bit more of them in Stardom. I don't feel like they were being given not being given the showcase, but like I feel like in comparison to what was going on with Kandori and Nani, there was a little bit lesser of a focus on them. I'd like to
mm.
see a little bit more of a focus, I think, on them, and especially Nori going into her match with Nani.
Yeah. I very much dislike Kandori and Inoue in this match. I found neither brought any energy to this. I found both kind of dull
Mhm.
and boring. Nane was doing everything she could to bring anything out of Kandori, and Kandori was giving her nothing for any
She
like
was very
she was very Sonata in this and like just had nothing. Or actually, I think she was worse than Sonata's charisma. I think she was less than Sonata charisma because Sonata's got very little charisma and she had none.
mhm,
I found Inoue was basically ineffective. I found Nori was the only person on their team that had any fire to give in
personality, we'll say.
yeah. And then like Nane doing everything she could to bring passion onto these people.
Hmm.
Now just the spitfire that she was. And then I was disappointed with Maya's performance in how
I was also
she portrayed the character because she almost felt like she was barely there.
yeah, yeah. There was one point where I like how sometimes like my ADHD and my
Mhm.
just I have that attention span of a goldfish. There was multiple times where I forgot that Mai was in this match. Usually it's like once or twice I forget that someone's in the match and oh well, there they are again. Multiple times I forgot that Mai was in this match. And then she got in there and I was like, "Oh no." And it's so disappointing because in Stardom she was so good and so over and she started off MariGold very very strong. But this was definitely a step back for her.
Mhm.
I hope she does kind of go back to the training facility and kind of reevaluate that Paradise Lock role. There's got
Mhm.
to be something that she can do to get that in a little easier. But right as it stands right now, it does look very awkward, and unfortunately, it does kind of make the other person work a lot harder to keep their like hands where they need to be in the lock, and it ends up making it look a little silly.
Yeah.
With Kandori though, I feel like like I don't want to disagree because she does kind of come off as like a very Sonata-esque character. But I feel like the contradiction between that lack of personality and the over the top personality of Nane kind of worked for me. But I understand why it wouldn't for most people.
Yeah, I can. I like a person who does because like there's some people with Sonata who have that utter charisma that bring it out of
Hmm.
him and he turns it up in certain
Hmm.
matches with certain people.
Hmm.
I don't want to see somebody play dead play dead charisma to
Oh
somebody else from
yeah.
crazy charisma. I want the person with the crazy charisma to bring something out of the dead charisma person. That's what I want.
Hmm.
And that's what I like to see. When somebody just keeps giving me dead charisma, I don't like it. I just don't.
That's fair. That's fair. I think what I personally will have a different story to sing about Sonata when we finally do Puroresu review about that first G1 match.
Ooh, I'm about to watch that first G1 match. So, yeah,
Oh, it was good. You're in for a treat, my friend.
let's go. We're moving on to the United National Championship semifinal match. So I'm just bringing it up the graphic now. United National Championship right there. We go into the semifinal match. It is a Miku Aono versus Mirai in a no time limit match, or was it like 30 or 40 I don't know. It was like I don't think, yeah, it was a non time limit match because they've had their bunch of 15-minute matches that have gone to 15, then they've gone another 5, and it's still not worked for them. and they went much farther than that. This match was great. This might be my match of the night because these two just tore it down. While the two main event matches were great, I just found these two just found a fire that they've been just fueling for so long now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, these two, they had quite a build up going into this. What a story they created between the animosity of these two. And the build up for it, I think, was very subtle, very much what Mirai prefers. Like I said, she is that quiet riot who just sits there smiling and then knocks your face off. I absolutely love it. Take us into it,
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah. So Ano really working over the arm of Mirai in this match, and there's a spot where she's just like really torquing back on it. She gets her in like the Becky Lynch disarmer, and she's just like
Oh,
leaning
yeah.
back. Like, I'm like, Mirai is flexible as hell, like to be
Yeah.
able to do that. Mirai fighting back, gets the corner attack, and then hits their Vader bomb elbow. She starts hitting the legs and ankles of Aono with submissions. Mirai slams the knee into the post. Later, a little bit later, Aono gets a huge lariat on the ropes, hits that double underhook suplex for 2. Mirai avoids a pile driver, pulls a knee bar, torquing the hell out of the knee and ankle and everything. But Aono does fight and she gets the ropes. They're trading strikes. Mirai hits a couple kicks and then hits SS Columbia with Michelle. Stu Fulton, Sonny Gutierrez, you need to learn what that move is called, damn it.
I even called that move.
You did.
I even called it. I was like, I know what that is.
Oh,
And
so
then they were like, oh, it's this. I'm like, no, sirs, it is
they just
not.
said they just called it a slam. I'm like, it is the
Yeah.
SS Columbia with Michelle. God damn it. Yeah. Towards the end of this match, they're trading hard lariats at center. Aono hits a short arm lariat, then another on the ropes. But Mirai hits 2 huge lariats for 2. Then, as Stu Fulton called it, a spicy lariat. But Aono kicks out at 2.
I heard
Aono,
that as well. I was like, why is that spicy?
just that little bit extra spicy she threw on that lariat right there. Mirai goes to the top, but Aono kicks her off the top. Mirai avoids a Styles clash, but Aono hits the Angel's wings and the head kick for 2, then picks her up. Styles clash for the win. Miku Aono moving on to the finals.
Yeah. I was surprised about this.
I
Because,
was
like, they
not.
were. I know you're happy about this, that's for
Mhm.
sure. I was definitely thinking that they were building Mirai to be an absolute beast in this company. But that being said, this leaves her opportunity to do other things with other people. So I and like considering this was what I would consider one of the first major, I would say feuds in this company to start off everything. I have to say I'm happy with how it ended. I was surprised, but I'm happy with how it ended, especially what we got afterwards. I don't have anything to add to this, man. Let's get into the next one because god dang.
So from here, we immediately you hear Bozilla's music hit. I don't know, pretty much only has time to catch her breath and get a quick sip of water before
Mhm.
Bozilla gets into the ring. So we're
Can
gonna
we
get
just
into.
talk real quick about how freaking gorgeous Bozilla looked also with all the
Mm-hmm.
rhinestone cat eye blingity blingies on her face? God dang, and all the way up into her hair. She looks so good. It matched her gear so perfectly. She came out looking like a champion.
Yeah. Oh, and so for context, Mirai and Miku Aono went 24 minutes and 14 seconds. That is 4 minutes 14 seconds longer than they've gone at all in their matches.
Mhm,
And Aono has to fight now Bozilla in this match. So Bozilla just starts beating the hell out of Aono, hits a second rope
mhm.
drop kick for 2. Bozilla continues to toss Aono around, hits a Vader bomb for 2. She gets her on the apron, hits a Claudio Plex over the top of in. Just beating the piss at her. Aono fights back, hits a drop kick into the corner. She gets a snapmare and more kicks. She ends up tying up the legs into a submission, but Bozilla gets the ropes. They're trading shots at center. Bozilla drops Aono. More shots concentrated. Iono actually drops Bozilla with kicks, which was impressive. But Bozilla comes back, picks her up, hits a spinning power bomb. But Iono just gets her hand on the ropes at the last possible second to break the pin. I was like, damn, that was great. Bozilla goes to the top, misses the moonsault. Aono hits a sliding lariat for 2, but Bozilla comes back with a huge spear. Just if her boots weren't tied so tight, they would have come off. Huge suplex to follow, but Bozilla can only get 2. Aono sweeps the leg, pulls the knee bar, but Bozilla gets to the ropes. Aono goes for the Styles Clash, but Bozilla backdrops her up. But Aono ends up rolling her through into a stack pin for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And in 10 minutes and 13 seconds, Miku Aono is your new MariGold United National Champion. Right there.
Yes. Yes. She got her ass kicked that night. God damn. Between Mirai, between Bozilla, and Bozilla just came in Miley Cyrus like a wrecking ball. She was on a warpath. And as soon as she got a hold of her, I was like, she's out of steam. She's just gonna get worked, and she did. The amount of like offense that Aono was able to get in on Bozilla, I was actually surprised. Because there's like so like to go from a 24-minute match into another 10-minute match immediately. And it's like you're already working so hard against someone like Mirai, who's got that speed and that deceptive strength. But then you got Bozilla, who's got that obvious strength and that deceptive speed. But then on top of that, she could just catch you just so that she's so smart because she can just grab you out of the sky and just slam you down when you were trying to do something. Aerialists have no chance against Bozilla. I was very shocked about this because I definitely felt that Bozilla was going to walk away from this tour with a MariGold title. I think there's still time.
I think so too.
I think she can work into something else, get another title shot. I wouldn't mind seeing her versus Sareee. Sareee.
Or she gets in the sauna, cuts a lot of weight, enters a Superfly division. I'm obviously joking.
I mean, never give up on your dreams. This was great. This was intense. And I feel the right spot of the show for this whole thing to be in. And I felt that this really went off without a hitch. Like after this point of the show, everything just felt perfect.
Yeah. I would love to see Bozilla start doing a Matt Hardy when he became the cruiserweight champion, and that he only had to weigh. He made it so he only had to weigh in when he only had to weigh the weight when he had to defend the title. So that was the joke, is that he would cut weight on title match days, but otherwise he was well over the weight limit. And I think he had
Hey, I mean, whatever works.
I think there was a fixed scale involved in him being a cruiserweight. I want to see Bozilla do something like that, where she has like a fixed scale and she's like, I am 55 kilograms.
Hey, I mean, tweet her. Maybe she'll be interested.
I think that would be a great gimmick to bring back, the fixed scale and everything. Yeah,
Have somebody pulling out the little scale behind her.
I think that would be hilarious.
Hire Zayda Steel to pull out the scale behind her or something.
Yeah. So we move on. Your semi-main event. It's the Queen of Queens match. It is Utami Hayashishita getting her dream match against the formerly known as Iyo Shirai, WWE's Iyo Sky.
Yes. Yes.
Both women wearing their Queen's Quest, like the masks from when they were both in Queen's Quest earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Sky showing up.
Sky's gear also her Queen's Quest gear?
It looks like very similar to the gear she currently wears in WWE. So
The jacket looked like it was a
the
definite Queen's
the
Quest.
jacket for sure. I'm just saying the actual gear looks very similar to what she wears in WWE. But the
I
entrance
don't
stuff
know.
was very much her Queen's Quest look. Then
Mm,
again, she's brought that look into her
everywhere.
WWE present. Well, she's brought she very
Mhm.
much did not have this presentation in WWE up until the last 6 to 8 months when Kyrie came back and they all started going into that very like going back to that Japanese look, more like really bringing the big feathery coats out and things like that. Io
Yeah,
really
when the
fell into it.
dementia era ended.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm just saying,
Shocking.
yeah, the speed of Sky in this match was insanity.
Mhm,
She can
mhm, and the
move.
ability for Utami to derail that speed was equally impressive.
Oh, it was crazy.
Take us
Um,
into it, my friend.
yeah. So they wrestle around early on. Sky gets a solid crossface to Utami, but Utami gets the ropes. Sky gets double knees to the back, springboard drop kick, and then hits a 619 into her in the ropes. Then hits a top rope drop kick, sending Utami to the floor. She then goes back to the top, hits a moonsault to Utami on the floor. Um, Sky avoid. They're back on top rope. Sky avoids getting slammed off the top and hits this springboard poison Rana off the top to Utami. I was like, what the fuck?
Goes to the outside, right?
No, that was back into the ring.
Oh, okay.
The poison Rana was into the ring. She did the moonsault to the floor, but she did the
Right, yeah,
poison
yeah.
Rana in.
Mhm.
Utami avoids the Angel's wings. She gets an air raid crash. Utami lariats Iyo Sky over the top. She went just like super quick over the top, like slamming into the apron. It looked brutal as hell.
Yeah.
She ends up pulling her, and she got up on the apron, and she like gets her in a choke over the ropes, and like drags her over the ropes, and like rear naked chokes, gets into that swinging rear naked choke, keeps it on. That she's trying to get to the ropes. She like judo throws her over, gets the hooks in,
Yeah,
which
it
is
was like a hip toss, yeah.
yeah, while the choke is still applied, then hooks the legs around,
Yeah.
getting the hooks in, and then but this
Mhm.
guy eventually fights, gets a foot on the ropes. It was crazy, just crazy.
Mhm.
Tommy hits a hard German for two, but Sky reverses the hijack bomb attempt into a Rana. Sky with a couple shotes, which is that palm strike. Hits Angel's wings. Meteor in the corner goes to the top, but Tommy stops her and she Germans her off the top, but only gets two. Utami hits the as it was called on commentary. I think it should be called the swinging Baszler, but they called it
Mhm.
the shocking Baszler, which I'm good with either name. Tell you the truth, but she can
As long
only
as
get
it's Baszler.
as long as it's Baszler. She can only get two. She hits a hijack bomb, but again, Sky kicks out at two. Iyo Sky, at the end of the match comes, Iyo Sky reverses a short arm lariat into the crossface, transitions into a knee strike to the face. She then picks her up, tombstone pile driver, goes to the top for the over the moonsault for the win. Amazing match. I know Sky
Oh.
cuts a promo after. I didn't get the translation, but she's putting Utami over and everything. They have a nice,
Mhm.
beautiful hug in there.
Mhm.
Just a beautiful moment for Utami getting to just great match, awesome match.
Mhm. 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 100%. And that moonsault was just womp. Like right on Tommy's pelvis too. Just oof.
Womp
Ouch. Womp. Womp.
womp.
Womp. Womp. Yeah, Io is savage in this. Now, I am not privy to Io Sky. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't watched WWE. Like I've seen her on the pay-per-views.
Yeah, we
Uh,
watched her versus Bailey at Mania.
yeah, but like, have I seen her since? No. I couldn't tell you what I saw her in before that WrestleMania. I know she's with the WWE. It's not my cup of tea right now. I'm just not really interested in the product. Now that the dementia era has ended, I've been hearing that it's getting a lot better, so maybe I might be interested. and going back to it, but from what I was experiencing from Iyo Sky, this woman was absolutely savage and was absolutely Io Shirai. This is what I expect to see when I see Io Shirai. The personality was a little bit more over the top, which I kind of lived for. I loved it because Utami has that subtle charisma that is it's for me it's one of my favorite things about her because she's charismatic without having to do too much. There's not a whole ton of wrestlers that can do that they don't have to do anything to be interesting. But the combination of the two of them together and the clear sense of urgency that Utami had in this match to keep up with Sky and to put her down as much and as quickly as possible because she knew she needed to, it would just made this match so freaking intense and so just I was so invested in it. I had to watch this match 3 separate times to get any notes on it because I would just get so enraptured in watching the match, and then it would end, I'd be like, "God damn it,
Oh, I
why?"
watched this. I watched this match twice. I watched it initially to get all doing the notes and everything, and then today, this morning, after I got in from doing all my stuff this morning, I put this in the main event on again just to get the feel from those two again. So I
Yeah,
was just like, I
same.
got to rewatch those two. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a moment, like, the first time I watched it without taking notes, and I just watched it for what it was, and it was such an emotional match that, like, I was also hormonal, but at the end of it, I was just like, "Oh my god, that was beautiful." As a wrestling fan, you wanna watch this match. It was
Yeah.
just everything that you needed and more.
There are places online for those who have not seen it and do not want to pay the $10 or pay you have to pay for this pay because it's a pay per view on top of
Mhm, mhm,
which you can buy the pay per view for 4,000 yen without signing up to Wrestle Universe.
mhm.
Um, this match is on other places online through alternative sources, and I usually don't recommend that. But for those who want a taste of what MariGold gives you, check it out and come back because Utami Hayashishita, just as much as Iyo Sky, made this match so good. And I highly recommend seeing this because it's just going to
Mhm.
sell you on what MariGold is. Yeah.
Now that we've encouraged people to do bad things, we can move on.
Yeah. But I'm saying this is if you're going to go out of your way to see any match here, this is probably the one you want to see. This is the one that will sell you because Utami will want to come back and see more Utami. I guarantee that. We move on. MariGold World Championship. It is Giulia, eventually WWE bound Giulia, versus Sareee. Man, Saree's red and gold gear looking fire, but Giulia's gold with the blue accents was so
And the
good.
brown, yeah,
Yeah,
it looks so good on her. That gear was whoever that seamstress is,
top
it
notch.
hasn't come up. Oh, so good. It just fit in the right places. It was cut in the right places. I don't know if she's going to the same one that she was at Stardom. I know the styling is very similar, but just the styling of material and where it fit her seemed very, very different on this kind of gear versus what she was wearing at Stardom before.
Yep.
And like because it was tight to her and they actually looked like tights as opposed to baggy pants, I felt that it worked so much better for her,
Mm-hmm.
especially her mobility. Take us into it, man.
It looks again. Everything just looks smoother for her in her gear. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna admit I
100%.
have a lot more in this match, but I'm gonna try to pare it down. This is the match I took the most notes of because this is the match that had the most to it. Well, not again. One of my favorite wrestlers is Giulia, but was it again? I still think that semifinal match for the national title was my match of the night because just the story those two told.
Mhm.
This is number 3 because the story in the last match was just that much short on the international,
On the
and then
back.
this one came up just short of that one. So it's almost 3 almost perfect matches on one show,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Okay, so
That's true. That's
again,
true.
good wrestling early. Giulia hits that running kick in the ring, hits a boot in the ropes, then gets a hangman's neck breaker off the apron to the floor. She goes for a table, but Sareee just runs it, just crashed into her. They go into the crowd. Sareee ends up whipping her into the chairs, like she reverses Giulia's Irish whip, just send Giulia into the chairs in the crowd. She starts throwing chairs at Giulia. They end up back at ringside. Giulia gets a suplex. They get in the ring. They're working around submissions and stuff. Sareee gets some hard ass kicks. Gets the leg lock into the Muta lock. But Giulia does get to the ropes, and Sareee ends up pulling a Koguma here, doing some little stomps in the back, and then uses the ropes to lift herself up and drop a big stomp on Giulia's back. I love that.
A little cute thing there, yeah.
3 to the top. Giulia cuts her off, gets a double underhook suplex, rolling through into another for 2. Giulia with a top rope drop kick, then gets the STF, but Sareee fights and gets to the ropes. Giulia picks the leg again, pulls on the hair, then puts in the STF, but again, Sareee fights the ropes. Sareee eventually gets an avalanche fisherman suplex off the top into a double foot stomp, then off the second, then from the heavens foot stomp off the top. Again, just crazy stuff here. They're trading Germans, each other, and then just snapping Germans on each other. They're trading strikes at center. Sareee hits a drop kick in the ropes. Then one against the bottom rope, but then Giulia reverses a move, hits a backdrop, falls in with a baseball throw strike, but Sareee gets up before the count of 10, and Giulia just cracks her in the face with a knee. Just everything was so solid here. They're just beating the piss of each other. Giulia takes her to the floor, gets up on the table. Well, I thought she was going for a pile driver, but ends up hitting a tiger bomb through a table, like a power bomb through a table, because she didn't quite go pile driver through it. She went like power bomb style through it.
Really? I thought it was the opposite, though. I thought she was going for a power bomb, and it kind of ended up looking pile driver-ish.
It looked tiger driver-ish, like Osprey's tiger driver is what it looked like to me. Like the way she like came down like this part onto the table.
Yeah, she came more on top of the neck and shoulders as opposed to the back or the head.
So I would say tiger driver style through the table. It looked rough as hell, like for sure. They go back in the ring. Giulia goes up top, but Sareee cuts her off. They're each headbutting each other. Giulia gets a sunset bomb off the top for 2. Giulia with hard elbows in the ring, a backdrop driver. Then Sareee hits her own backdrop for 2. Then Giulia with a knee to the face for 2. Giulia hits a glorious driver, but Sareee kicks out at that last possible second. Sareee slips out of the Northern Lights bomb into an exploder, then goes after the arm, going for the arm bar, but Giulia gets to the ropes. Another huge exploder by Sareee, but only gets 2. Giulia reverses out of an exploder, hits her Northern Lights bomb, but Sareee kicks out at 2.99999. Like, so close. Sareee hits a hard forearm, and then another exploder, but Giulia kicks out of that 2.999. Like, I thought it was over there. Giulia gets a sneaky pin in for 2. Sareee gets La Mystica into the arm bar, and then she rips off the protector on the arm and starts manipulating the fingers, and the referee stops the match. And your winner by referee stoppage and new MariGold World Champion, and she is the Destiny now, Sareee.
Yeah.
I understand why this finish happened. I'm not a huge fan of it, but with her eventual WWE debut on the horizon, I don't think WWE wants her to like give up in that sense. But but she still took the loss in the sense. You know what I mean? It's weird. I'm conflicted on this finish.
I'm going to say I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it because for the tempo and pace of the match that we were going at, this match was savage. It was fast paced. They were putting on a technical clinic on each other. Like we already know Giulia has that very interesting, unique moveset that just makes her so interesting to watch. But I didn't know that Sareee and her had such a technical ability when they're together. So the way they were flowing together was really, really cool. The I felt that when they got into that part of the match and she starts manipulating her hands, I'm like, oh, things are gonna pick up now. And no, it just freaking ended. For me, it was too sudden.
Yeah.
And it was, if I'm being completely honest, an underwhelming way to end such a high intensity and high energy match, particularly when it was a title match, and particularly when it was a crowning title match. We were crowning the first ever champion of this title and company. That being said, I kind of felt and knew in my heart of hearts that Sareee was going to win this one,
Me too.
but the way in which it was won, it felt a little lackluster.
Like, had she been pulling on the arm and was torquing on the fingers, and you see Giulia's other hand slamming on the mat,
Mhm.
I would have been better because then she's in such pain she has to give up, right?
Yeah, or even if she had done something else where she had the hand still and she was fixated on the hand, but like she was also doing something else, maybe with the neck or something that made Giulia pass out and unable to physically continue. That would make sense. But the referee stoppage, it kind of felt like, no offense, like a bitch ass way to kind of end something so good.
And I'm also very wary because of WWE now, because as we talked about a couple of weeks ago on Japanese Wrestling Update on OLE, the Stephanie Vaquer situation and the fact that she just vacated and left. And I have a feeling WWE's influence there. The
Mhm.
fact that I almost feel like WWE probably got a little bit of influence in how this ended.
Oh, 100%. Just like
That I don't
anything
like.
that AEW is involved in, we know that the AEW people are going to win, and we know that that's going to be because of Tony Khan's influence, 100%.
Mhm.
Um, that being said, though, I feel like the company relationships between MariGold and WWE is a little bit more stable and maybe a little bit more solid. And I would say, I don't want to say partner. Actually, I think that is the right word. I feel like they're partnering a little bit better with them, in the fact that I feel, could be wrong about this. Maybe it has been confirmed and I'm just not paying attention. But I feel like the WWE is a financial help and assistance to
I
MariGold
assume
in this
so.
respect, where I don't feel like they have that same relationship, even though they do have some kind of something going on in Mexico. I don't feel that they have that same kind of relationship with CMLL
Mhm.
or
Good.
whoever they're working with. Yeah, so I feel that whatever they do with MariGold, it needs to be done right,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more right than what was happening with Fakir. Mind you, like depending on who you ask will depend on what answer you get from there. Bakir says one thing, CMLL is saying another, tomato, tomato. But yeah, I feel like that working relationship with MariGold and WWE is probably has something to do with this, and they absolutely had an influence in the ending of this. That being said, I feel like the ending still could have been a little bit better. But then
And
given how everything else went up until this point, how? Like, what do you do? You can't
yeah,
shock anybody anymore.
and the fact that WWE will be in Japan this upcoming weekend, there are no MariGold shows again. There's a show on the 20th and 21st that we will be talking about that has the tag team tournament matches in there. We will talk about those. But there's
Mhm,
no matches on this upcoming weekend of the 25th, 26th, 27th. And WWE will be in town for those 3 days.
mhm.
I have a feeling. I got a feeling. Ooh.
Woo-hoo.
I got a feeling that in those 3 days, we might see some Noah and some Marigold people appear on and compete on those events
Mhm,
just to help in promotion. Not that WWE can't sell out there because again they haven't been there in over 6 years, But I feel like if you see a couple of MariGold people there and possibly some Noah people there, it's going to show that sign of the company working together. I think it really will show that solidification.
And given some of the results that have just recently come out of the Noah shows happening over there, it'll be interesting to see who, if at all, they bring in to kind of showcase there. It would be smart to showcase WWE guys against Noah guys, against MariGold people, just because you're going to be in Japan, they're going to be there already anyway.
And again, that can also benefit you by bringing a smaller roster of people to Japan, so you don't have to do that much more travel. You don't have to bring a handful of people comparatively to do that. So like I look, and maybe you get somebody high profile woman from NXT to come over and maybe face Giulia. Maybe you get an NXT match early on. We don't know. There's 3 days of events. We'll see. We'll find out what they are, and we'll talk. I'm going to talk about them on JW next week. There will not be an episode of JW this week because we have a crazy week ahead. And yeah, I've got stuff to do with MCU stuff that I'm doing for that.
We got a lot of stuff is what we have. We have a lot of stuff. Let's not get into it.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, I do quickly want to go over a couple things. So there's Sareee with her championship and her trophy. I hate the trophy stuff. I just don't like it. You don't need to win a championship and a trophy. I don't get it. I just don't. That's Ogawa's Star Wars. That's Ogawa's Stardom stuff. Yeah, it's Star Wars stuff. But I want to quickly talk about two things. The Twin Star Championship tournament is on now. So July 20th and 21st, there were matches for the initial first. Yes, those are the titles.
I'm making a face because I'm sweating my lady balls off. Let's go.
So quickly, on the 20th, we had I'm not giving the results. I'm just talking about it because we're going to talk about it on another show. 20th, we have Zayda Steel and Myla Grace versus Mirai and Mai Sakurai, and then you have Kouki, Amarei, and Chika Goto, who actually end up winning their match by default over Nane and Takahashi and Naoya Ishikawa, because Naoya Ishikawa did not make the show, and Rhea Seto replaced her in that match. So Kouki, Amarei, and Chika Goto were moved on to the semifinals by default, just so you're aware. And then on the 21st, and this is the reason why Rhea Seto couldn't sub in as a tag partner, because we have Miku Aono and Natsumi Showzuki versus Kizuna, Tanaka, and Victoria Yuzuki. And then the other quarterfinal match is Rhea Seto and Komomo Minami versus CHIAKI and Nagisa Nozaki. That's going to be a murder match. This is going to be a murder match. I'm sorry.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, yeah. Dear.
And then both the semifinals and the finals will take place on the July 30th show at Korakuen Hall. So we're going to get semifinal round and the finals round on that show.
Interesting.
I feel like they'll open with the two semifinal matches and the main event with the finals match. That's how I feel that's going to go.
Probably, yeah. Probably. Yeah. That would be merciful. At least give the girls a break.
I agree with you 100%. Those girls will need a break. That is for darn sure. And then one more quick thing. We have a Grand Prix.
Yes.
We have a Dream Star Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. And it will be starting on August 31st. So after all the other tournaments are over, thank you, God. So August 31st. And then you have September 8th, 14th, 16th, 20th, 21st, 23rd. And the finals will be on September 28th. Yeah. So.
Interesting. They're the same freaking name as Stardom, too. Go figure.
The Dream Star Grand Prix. Gawa's not the... He had like Twin Star is cool, but like
what works. He knows what works. I guess people do. I mean, you could say it's a tournament, or you could say it's a Grand Prix. Grand Prix does kind of describe what it is, right?
Or you should have called it the Dream Star Climax. You know, playing off G1.
I know, but like. Why though?
I don't know. But we have come to the end of another episode of Dream Review. MariGold. Yeah, I did that really weird, especially with
You
my
were
voice.
excited.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna get the heck out of here. So you can find me on the X at That Candid Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at That Candid. You can find me on Facebook at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. And over, if you're not watching us on our page, you may be watching us back for your video. Go to youtube.com/ at Andre M. Melball Wrestling Talk. I give a shout out to our friends over at BAM Weekly. We got some stuff brewing over there. The name is going to be changing, but you can check them out on their Facebook page as of right now under BAM Weekly. We're going forward. We're going to have some changes coming up there, so check out their Facebook page, and our audio will end up there. So just remember that. Twitch.tv/ our local establishment. Our friends over there at OLE. You can check them out, or over on youtube.com/ at our local establishment. This coming Wednesday, you can find me and OLED talking Ant-Man. We're getting the MC rebound, talking the original Ant-Man. Did you just smack yourself in the face?
I sure did.
That's funny. Yeah, you can find us talking Ant-Man over there on the MC rebound this coming Wednesday. And then this coming Saturday, sometime on Saturday afternoon / evening, depending on where you are, you're going to be able to find me, OLED, Mark Talks Wrestling, and another special guest that is 50-50 if they're going to be there right now because we're still working out logistics. We're going to be talking Deadpool and Wolverine, baby.
Hey.
I'm going Thursday night. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I love you guys. You guys are so funny.
I think me, Mark, and Ed are all going Thursday night, and our other potential guest is supposed to be going Thursday night. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Let's go.
Yep. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And then one more shout out to our boy Mike the Ref over at Backbreaker Videos. Simulcasting all of our videos. Thank you so very much. You can check him out youtube.com/ at Backbreaker Video. You can find him live at twitch.tv/ Mike the Ref, where he does his Wednesday, Saturday, and pay-per-view Sunday AEW watch-alongs. He has all other gaming content every other day of the week. Check him out there. If you want replays of that gaming content, go to youtube.com/ at Backbreaker_gaming. You can find stuff from him, Mr. PJC, this guy right here, Rick Jules, and that for a week when guest
Kayla J.
That's the one.
Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. We love Kayla J here.
Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can find her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can find her on everything else: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find me on our local establishments programming with this guy every Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time for Japanese Wrestling Update. Unless it's not.
Like last week when I screwed up the start time.
And when you were fixing it in the middle of the RCW show.
No, Bobby was.
Hey.
I was just telling him Bobby to fix it.
And we were stressing like mofos.
Yep.
But we still got to post our Nate section.
That's right. Oh,
Anyway, Japanese Wrestling Update, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, unless it's not. There is not going to be a show this week because we have too much shit to do this week, too much wrestling to watch, and too many things going on. So you can catch us next week. I don't know if there's a show the beginning of August.
No, we'll be fine. It's not till the weekend after that we have an issue with Top Talent. So
we don't know what RCW is doing because RCW hasn't announced anything in the first weekend, but
we should be here on the second.
We should be. If you stay tuned to our socials, we will let you know. If you're wanting to watch, you can also catch me on Astra Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We should have a show probably being recorded this week, coming out this weekend. I'm going to have to get back into my DMs and start getting on her for topics for that. But she does have, I think she has that show going on with Auntie Collins this week, the ROH pre-show. So we will see how we get through that. So stay tuned to our socials to see when we're coming out with that bad boy. If you're wanting to watch MariGold Wrestling, we will leave a link in the description box below. It is wrestle-universe.com. Oh, the dash is new.
No, I forgot about the dash to put it in there. That's on me.
Oh,
Then I went to the website the other day and I was like, oh, there's a dash in there. Crap.
right. So it's wrestle-universe.com. It is how much yen? How many yen?
999 yen. And it actually is not 1450. It ends up working better than that because it converts straight from the yen. So I actually get a better deal that way.
So we're set to oh. Hello. Shout out Sean Spears. Yeah.
I just like to screw it up with the Eddie Thorpe.
Oh, Eddie. Oh, well, we love it when Eddie just pops up randomly in random shows. If only he was just, another person in the book. Anyway. How much does it work out to, my friend? Is it less than 10 Canadian?
No, it's more than 10. Or I don't remember. I haven't looked. The money just comes out of my account.
Well, that's super helpful in this situation right now. We're going to say
Let's
it's 10 Canadian, and if it's wrong, just yell at Andre, because it's not a Melball's fault. She just delivered the information. Still a great price to watch some amazing wrestling. There is approximately, I think, is it 9?
875.
875. There you go. Almost 10 Canadian. But how many organizations are there, my friend? 9?
Oh, 8. There 8. I don't 8. There's at least 8. So there's at least 8.
He said 8 the most. We're gonna go with 8. That's 8 organizations to watch for under $10. Hell of a price, you guys. Check that ish out. Andre.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Andre.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, making sure it's 8.
My trusted friend and colleague. Do you have anything else to say to that beautiful people?
I'm broken. But I want to say thank y'all so very much for showing up here, supporting us, watching everything we do. We thank you so much. Please like our video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Don't forget us to share us out to all your friends, family, and people with 8 pockets in their pants that can hide all the cards they need for their games. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Hello. And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is the sleeveless Andre. We will see you next time. What are we doing? Oh. We will see you next time. Arrivederci.